Good morning, investors. You are now on KleverStock with me, Ainunjaria, serving you the latest morning bell updates. Kicking it off with the opening bell updates on our local market. According to a dealer, Bursa Malaysia opened higher on Thursday, rebounding from yesterday's losses on renewed buying in selected heavyweights, though sentiment remained cautious over the global economic outlook. At 9:10 a.m., the FPM KLCI rose 6.57 points to 1,594.78 from Wednesday's close of 1,588.21. The benchmark index opened 3.71 points firmer at 1,591.92. Market breadth was positive, with 204 gainers outpacing 119 losers, while 240 counters were unchanged, 2,031 untraded and 17 suspended. Turnover stood at 156.85 million shares worth 80.46 million ringgit. In a note, Malacca Securities Sdn Berhad said it expects the FPM KLCI to trade on a mixed note today, tracking overnight weakness on Wall Street. It said Wall Street extended its losses as selling in Apple and Amazon dragged the broader market lower, while investors stayed cautious ahead of NVIDIA's earnings next week. The U.S. Federal Reserve minutes reinforced a wait-and-see stance on rate cuts. Citing tariff-related inflation risk, traders are now eyeing Powell's speech at Jackson Hole on Friday for policy clues. Among heavyweights, Maybank rose 3 cents to 9 ringgit and 83 cents. Tenaga Nasional gained 6 cents to 13 ringgit and 72 cents, and IHH Healthcare added 1 cent to 6 ringgit and 89 cents, while Public Bank and CIMB were unchanged at 4 ringgit and 46 cents and 7 ringgit and 30 cents respectively. On the actively traded list, Green Packet was up 1 cent at 5 cents. CBH Engineering climbed 1.5 cent to 32.5 cent, while Berjaya Corp eased half a cent to 27.5 cent, and JCY International slipped 2.5 cent to 26 cents. On the broader market, the FPM AMMB index improved 37.46 points to 11,820.29. The FPM 100 index rose 38.77 points to 11,607.07. The FPM AMMB Sharia index added 50.52 points to 11,749.86. The FPM Mid 70 index gained 15.55 points to 16,619.01. And the FPM ACE index increased 14.03 points to 4,709.95. Now, by sector, the Financial Services Index advanced 20.02 points to 18,185.16. The Plantation Index was 17.85 points higher at 7,610.45. The Energy Index added 2.13 points to 751.42. And the Industrial Products and Services Index rose 1.54 points to 162.27. We should now look at the performance of our local currency. The ringgit opened higher on Thursday as the US dollar weakened following the release of the Federal Open Market Committee FOMC minutes. The local currency also strengthened against other major and regional units. At 8 a.m., the ringgit rose to 4.2190 or 4.2335 from Wednesday's close of 4.2250 or 4.2290. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid said the minutes showed that the U.S. Federal Reserve was in a holding pattern as it assessed the impact of tariff shocks on the economy, particularly inflation. He said the debate hinges on whether the impact will be transitionary or persistent. Michelle Baumann and Christopher Waller, the two FOMC members who dissented and favored a 25 basis points BPS cut, strongly believe that the tariff-driven inflationary impact would be temporary. Muhammad Afzal Nizam said the US dollar index DXY slipped 0.05% to 98.218 as the minutes sent mixed signals to investors. He He added that investors would now focus on Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday tomorrow. He said perhaps there will be more clues as to how the Fed might decide at the September FOMC meeting. In the meantime, we expect the ringgit to trade within a narrow range as traders remain cautious, although the odds of a 25 BPS cut in September are high. Muhammad Abdul said the ringgit was likely to hover around 4 ringgit and 22 cents to 4 ringgit and 23 cents against the US dollar during the day. At the opening, the ringgit was higher against a basket of major currencies. It gained against euro to 4.9156 or 4.9325, inched up against the Japanese yen to 2.8646 or 2.8747, and strengthened vis-a-vis the British pound to 5.6809 or 5.7004. The ringgit also advanced against other ASEAN currencies. It rose against Singapore dollar to 3.2828 or 3.2943, strengthened versus Thai baht to 12.9528 or 13.0037, edged up vis-a-vis the Indonesian rupiah to 259.2 or 260.2, and improved against the Philippine peso at 7.40 or 7.43. And now moving on to economy updates. MARC Ratings has assigned Sabah as an AAA sub-sovereign credit rating with a stable outlook under its sub-sovereign rating scale. The agency said the decision was supported by Sabah's solid fiscal position, driven by its significant natural resource income, strong fiscal reserves, and robust institutional framework. It said the stable outlook reflects MARC Ratings' expectations that Sabah will sustain a sound fiscal position supported by robust liquidity buffers, continued revenue generation from natural resource wealth, and steady federal support for the state's development agenda. Nonetheless, Sabah's credit profile remains vulnerable to global economic volatilities, which could weigh on commodity prices and temporarily affected the state's economic momentum. The ratings agency noted that Sabah is among Malaysia's most resource-rich states, with agriculture and mining making up to 36.5% of its gross domestic product in 2024, the highest proportion nationwide. It added that the state is the country's largest crude palm oil producer, contributing 22.1% of national output in 2024, and is also a key player in oil and gas production. It said although palm oil-related products are the state's dominant exports, Sabah is actively pursuing downstream ONG development to expand its currently modest manufacturing base. MARC Ratings said Sabah's economy is heavily influenced by ONG and palm oil sectors, so swings in commodity prices affect its fiscal revenue. With energy prices likely to ease in 2025, revenue could come under pressure. However, Sabah is still expected to keep a healthy fiscal balance in the medium term thanks to efforts in widen its tax base and diversify the economy. And now moving on to corporate news updates. Reclamation works for Silicon Island have passed the 80-hectare mark, marking steady progress in the largest land reclamation project in Penang to date. The project, which covers a total area of 930.78 hectares, is being developed into two phases, namely 510 hectares under Phase 1 and the remaining 420.9 hectares under Phase 2, with reclamation starting in September 2023. Penang Infrastructure Corporation Senior Berhad PIC Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Farizan Darus said the 80-hectare milestone was a positive sign that the project was progressing according to plan, and it was not just about physical progress. The state today, he said, the project is designed to be a driver of Penang's long-term growth by combining world-class infrastructure, sustainable development practices, and community-oriented facilities. It would also open up new opportunities for investment, innovation, and employment, while ensuring that the local community benefits from better facilities. On the development of the Social Impact Management Plan (SIMP), Farizan said a total of 11.7 million ringgit in ex-gratia payments have been channeled to 791 eligible fishermen thus strengthening the state government's commitment to the welfare of fishermen. Apart from cash assistance, he said the government had also implemented a boat and engine assistance scheme as part of its ongoing efforts to provide financial guarantees and modern equipment to local fishermen to ensure they can continue their livelihoods more effectively. He said to date, 118 out of 295 active fishermen who owns boats have received new boats and engines with a total expenditure of almost 10 million ringgit. Now, earlier, the young Di-Pertua Negeri Tun Ramli Ngah Talib said his wife, Toh Puan Raja Nur Ashikin Raja Abdullah, visited the project site to witness the achievements and cross the island using a 378-meter temporary iron bridge built at Permatang, Damar Laut. Also present were State Infrastructure, Transport and Digital Committee Chairman Zairi Kir Johari, Deputy State Secretary Development Muhammad Abdul Rahman, and Silicon Island Development Sdn Berhad SIDSP Chief Executive Officer Dato Steto Y. Lung. During the visit, they were also briefed on upcoming facilities including 380 marine flyover, Pan Island link to a Matang food court and community facilities, as well as a new community development department, Kemas Trading Center. Silicon Island, with a land area of 930.78 hectares, is a reclamation project owned by the Penang government. The first time the state government has directly developed a reclamation project to ensure long-term economic growth. And finally, wrapping up, we have major corporate developments and deals across Malaysia. SD Gatri Berhad and Gamuda Berhad have signed an agreement to develop a solar energy assets targeting up to 1.2 gigawatt of accumulated capacity. AMMB Holding Berhad is targeting loan growth of 4% for financial year 2026, in line with the industry's pace, supported by the bank's business and wholesale banking divisions. And number 3, CELCOMDIGI Berhad CEO Dato Idham Nawawi will step down at the end of this month after 3 years at the helm of Malaysia's largest telecommunication company. And next, MBSB Bank Berhad has sparked its position at Saipark Resources Berhad principal banking partner after formalizing Islamic financing facilities worth 1.3 billion ringgit with the renewable energy and environmental solutions provider. And last but not least, Eastern and Oriental Berhad's UK with Hammersmith Properties Ltd plans to dispose of 2 freehold land parcels in Hammersmith, London to Varsity Capital One Propco Ltd for $75 million. Now that's a wrap for Morning Bell updates with me, Anunjari on KleverStock. Thank you for choosing us, investors. Stay tuned for the next live coming soon.